Gotta. All right, guys. Well, good evening, folks out there. We are live Wednesday night, October 1st, 2025, to discuss the first episode of Marvel's animation series, Marvel Zombies. What a perfect time to start this on October 1st, especially because it's about zombies. And what great month is October, but the great month of Halloween. Yes, we absolutely love Halloween. It's Halloween year round in my house. We watching horror films all the time. So, with October just happens to be a climatic event of the horror genre. So, going to talk about this, Marvel Zombies is really fun that we're getting to do it during October. So we're glad everyone that's here and watching us. We appreciate you guys watching us. Anyway, so we're here to talk about episode 1. Over the next 3 weeks, we'll be doing the other 3 episodes for you guys. So keep your eyes out. This is, of course, a Marvel Animation Studios production. The same people that made What If and all that kind of good stuff are bringing this to us. Of course, I think that, the showrunners of this one are some different people, but still it's the same, animators and everything like that did What If and all that kind of stuff. It is based off of Mark Millar, Greg Land, and Robert Kirkman, What If Zombies, which is based off of that. Created by Brian Andrews and Zeb Wells. They're the 2 big creators and producers and teleplays and stories on this. And I think that, it started off really good. I really enjoyed this first episode. I was really looking forward to checking this out because I absolutely love zombies. I just love zombies. And, getting to see something that zombies that's Marvel related is just it's a 2-in-1 stone type of deal there. And I think it's really fun. So I just kind of want to go around and ask you guys to start off. What were you guys' expectations, or were you guys looking forward to talking about Marvel Zombies? And I'll start with you, Mr. Pop Culture Guy.
Hello. Yeah. I'm same with you. I'm a big fan of zombies. Love 28 Days Later. I know that's not a zombie thing, but yeah, it's a zombie thing. It's apocalypse movie. Love the George Romero's zombie trilogy. And of course, I love The Walking Dead. Of course, me and Jeff have been reviewing the Dead spin-offs. So yeah, huge fan of the zombies, Sandra. And yeah, I was kind of optimistic about the show. I was a little worried about the kind of focus on the new phase characters, but thankfully, after watching this and episode 2, I gotta say that they're focusing on the newer phase characters that we like, that are better, and not spoil too much from episode 2, but they focus on the characters that are among the best introduction to this new phase of the multiverse saga. So that's the good thing, because I was a little worried about who they were focusing on in this show, and thankfully they're focused on these characters that I think the majority of us from their projects they were in this new phase 4 and 5 and 6. But yeah, I'm very excited to talk about this episode 1. I love the animation. I love that it's TV MA, so that's good. We've got a couple of blood, especially just some of the kills are pretty impressive, I gotta say. So very excited to talk about this episode with you guys.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Jeff, same question, sir. Were you excited to talk about Marvel Zombies, or what were you thinking about when you heard that this was coming out?
Sir, honestly, I was more excited to light this joint right now, more than anything, that I was at any time about Marvel Zombies. I was excited for Marvel Zombies when we covered the episode of What If where they did the Marvel Zombies, and it was really good, and we liked it. And then they said that they were going to make Marvel Zombies, but that was I don't know, 3 years ago or something like that. So no, sir. I only have such a, length of time where I can, retain enthusiasm, for a future, project. You know what I mean? Before at some point, I just get tired of, thinking about it and it falls off my radar, so I honestly may have occasionally wondered like when it was finally going to come out or if it ever would come out, but no, I did not really have any like, big expectations or anything like that for Marvel Zombies, based off of, not so much Marvel animation recently, but just because of like, the overall drop off of the quality of the content from Marvel Studios for years now that we've discussed, all of us, you know what I mean? And, and on other shows, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to poo-poo Marvel Studios or be superly negative or anything like that. But, the reality of it is that although we are the MCU's bleeding edge and always will be, I personally, as a MCU Marvel fan at this point, I'm very dubious most of the time. Whenever anything new is going to come out, I don't have any natural tendency to be optimistic anymore about anything that they put out. If anything, I'm more along the lines of like, assuming almost, that, new projects or whatever they put out lately are gonna have problems. You know what I'm saying? I'm figuring that there's probably gonna be issues, or whatever. No, sir. Although I think the concept of Marvel Zombies, as we've discussed before on here together, is a great concept. To do. If done well, I think can be very entertaining. I'm so far so good with the show after one episode. Although again, I did have some initial interest when I first heard about the project, it took so long for them to finally put it out that, all that excitement just kind of distilled after a while, then when you add in those, those lowered expectations for everything Marvel's doing lately, I'm a little jaded right now when they put out new stuff. So, we'll see. Hopefully it'll turn out to be good.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. So, of course, we have our wonderful panel here, tonight. I forgot to introduce the awesomeness. Of course, we have Jeff S., TrueKnowledge himself on the panel tonight. So great to have him. And then, of course, as always, we have Mr. Andreas, the pop culture guy, Time Lord, Time Cop, Toxic Avenger, everything in between, folks. He is there. He is the master of illusion. Remember that. But anyways, we love pop culture guy. We love him very much. He's a great asset on the panel when we have him. So we have a small group tonight. So it's always fun when we have these small groups and we get to kind of chatter around and chatter. But anyways, so like I said, we're going to be talking about the first episode of Marvel Zombies, which happens to be titled Episode 1. No title, like it didn't give it a title, just called it Episode 1, which I thought was pretty funny. Directed by Brian Andrews, teleplay by Zeb Wells, story by Brian Andrews and Zeb Wells. All right, so basically the episode starts off 5 years after a zombie virus devastates Earth. Kate Bishop, Riri Williams, Kamala Khan survive together in New York. When they find a shrunken device inside a zombie SHIELD agent, they travel to a SHIELD base in Ohio to activate it. So we'll stop there because there's quite a bit that goes on in that beginning there. We have zombie Hawkeye that pops up. We have them, having banter back and forth and stuff like that, which is really funny. Very much Young Avengers feeling-esque. And, we have the first zombie that we see getting shot by Kate Bishop, getting shot into the head. and we get our first kind of like gore factor there from Marvel Zombies. And I think that, this opening for myself, I thought was pretty fun. I loved seeing Kamala Khan again. I love seeing Kate Bishop again. Of course, I am very much on the fence with Riri Williams. I don't think she's anything that great, as we had just discussed when we did Ironheart. She is not anything that really does anything. Really isn't very entertaining. And the actress just does not do a very good job, I feel. But still, in animation form, not as bad as in live action form, I felt. But still, it was great to see these three together, having kind of like a sister thing going. And definitely very much Young Avengers-esque feeling. So I think that, it's pretty fun. I think we get to see zombie Hawkeye, which was crazy. It was like, oh man, too bad Hawkeye zombie. But right off the bat, original Avenger, right off the bat, we see within the first like 5 minutes of this episode, I was like, holy shit, they really were going for it with this, bringing back the, core Avengers. And of course we get, Hawkeye. Which was really cool. But anyways, so what do you guys think about that beginning leading up to them going to, decide to travel to the SHIELD base in Ohio to see what that little shrunken device is? And I'll start with you, Jeff.
Honestly, sir, I was kind of confused, but I mean, how did that go down exactly? What was the whole point of that beginning? Explain that to me. What were they trying to accomplish?
They were just trying to survive the zombie apocalypse in New York, and they end up coming across that device.
What was the device about?
They don't know. We haven't gotten to that part yet. When they go to the base to figure out what it is.
Okay. I mean, the show, the pace of the show is very, very, very fast. It's like very rushed, So I found myself to be, as you can already see, a bit confused. When they launched us into the episode initially, because of how everything just kind of like hits the ground running almost. It's really kind of hard to like acclimate yourself immediately, to the beginning of that episode of episode 1. And identify really what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Who's out there? What's occurring? It all just kind of gets thrown at you. You know what I mean? And in a really quick way. Which I'm okay with. I don't think there's anything wrong with starting off the story in a TV show, or movie, with like a fast-paced, aggressive, opening, or like setting the tone or pace of the show, with that kind of aggressive, tension building, you know what I mean? Kind of, climatic sort of energy, I'm okay with that. And, but yeah, I must say that, I was a little bit miffed, with the lack of, I guess, backing information, or explanations, really, as far as what exactly was happening with the zombie war. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel like they added a lot of backstory or like history or, anything to really, kind of back up or set up where we were at currently with the show, like with the episode. If that makes sense. I don't remember there being a bunch of flashbacks or anything like that kind of got us to like where we're at, yeah, the whole thing just went really, really fast. I had a hard time identifying kind of who was there and who wasn't, who the characters were. Besides that, I mean, I don't know how far you went, but did they explain like what the deal is with the zombies? Like why, like did they get into that in the beginning?
They kind of explain that there was a virus outbreak, and that's why the Earth's like it is.
Okay, that's it though, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
I got you. Okay. I'm just confused. I'm still trying to figure out why it is that some of the zombies can talk and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And the rest of them can't, you know?
Ah.
But that's about it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Over to you, Toxic Avenger. What are your thoughts around the beginning?
The opening was decent. I thought it was a good introduction to the zombie apocalypse for Marvel. I do agree with what Jeff was talking about. Like, when you do these, like, zombie apocalypse, you need to set up the tone, the, like, really the kind of, like, the timeline where your zombie apocalypse is. Sometimes, 9 out of 10, they will show you the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. Either it, starts with a virus being infected to the, patient 0, or, like you saw with, 28 Days Later is a good example of this. Before we go to, Cillian Murphy's character, Jim, we first see how the infected started, with the active, the amino activists, infiltrating the university that was containing the chimpanzees with the virus. Or, like the Night of the Living Dead, the classic 1968 classic film, like show you the slow process of how the dead was rising, and I think you need that to, like, explain how the zombie apocalypse is starting or how it got started. Now, some movies don't do that. They will just jump you into the zombie apocalypse, and that's fine. I mean, Zombieland did this. They gave you a montage, that funny montage credits of, like, seeing the world going downhill, with the zombies, and then, like, then we start with the movie with what was it? Jesse Eisenberg's character ready for in the apocalypse. So you can do that. I thought this beginning, if you haven't seen the What If, I mean, the fact is this wasn't a sequel to What If. It's pretty much a standalone version of Marvel Zombies, its own telling of the story. Then you have to inform your audience that this is not a follow-up to the What If episode. This is a completely, another version of the Marvel Zombie story, but with more time to tell the story. So, but besides that, it's a good opening. I love Kate Bishop, Haley Stanfield, great actress. Kamala Khan, she's the best character since Alea as being the best new superhero in the new Phase 4. So I was happy to see her. Yeah, I'm with pretty much everyone here. Like, I mean, Ironheart, it's like, oh, why? And I mean, out of all the new Young Avengers, why we need Ironheart to be in this lineup? I could have been fine to have Tommy or some other Young Avenger character that we haven't seen yet to be part of their group. But yeah, I wasn't thrilled to have Ironheart here, but she was decent. I mean, I think she's better in animation than live action, I have to say. Just my opinion. But yeah, it was really cool. I think the animation is definitely top notch here. I like that we're in TV AMA. We saw the blood and guts, which is really great. I mean, the fact that Kamala opened the dead Shield agent, like, you see that, like, that was like, okay. So they're doing the gore, which is good. Seeing the dead Hawkeye is really cool. Like the fact that he knows, like, still undead, but know how to still shoot accurate with the arrows is really neat. And then to answer Jeff about the whole, like, how they're taught, I mean, we get the reveal, but, like, there is something much higher that's controlling the zombies here. When we get it to the end point, when we meet up, what is it, Okoye, right, from Black Panther. She started talking, and then you saw them having their red eyes. It did tell me that, okay, that someone is possessing them, which is cool. So that explains that that's how they're getting their talk. Because when you're not, like, you're not possessed, you're not talking. So it makes a lot of clear sense. Who's controlling them? But anyway, very cool that Okoye is the zombie leader because, as a Walking Dead fan, she played Michonne in the original series and the ones who left. So that was cool that she's, like, the main leader of the zombie herd. So that was really cool to see. But yeah, so a very decent opening of this show. I kind of wish they, as Jeff said before, like give us more contents of like either show us the pre-zombie apocalypse starting, or like tell us like what happened to this world of like this version of Marvel Universe being affected by the zombies. Because because you're not, because the fact is, when we opened this episode, it you know told me that it wasn't following up the episode from What If from season 1. So like you needed to be more clear. But overall, a decent opening.
Thank you, sir. Great job. 10 billion points for you, 10 billion points for Jeff.
Awesome.
Good job, guys. Good job. All right. So before we move on, I just nobody really mentioned Hawkeye. What was your guys' thoughts on Hawkeye being in that sequence, Andres?
I mean, I say it was cool to see Hawkeye still having his mastery of archery still intact. That was cool. I'm trying to figure. I think we had Hawkeye in the last. Like I know it's a long time we've seen What If, but I think it was in season 1, right? And What If as the zombie, or not? It's good. Because Jeff was wondering like what we're going to see like the original 6. So I'm happy that they start with one of the original 6 as zombies, because we know they're going to be like zombies, which is great. So I was happy to see Hawkeye as a zombie. I like his design; it's pretty cool. As a zombie creature, I kind of wish we spent more time with the zombie creature. Like I think we needed like a long chase zombie scene with Hawkeye. Like besides him shooting the arrows, like it'd be kind of cool that he was chasing them, like running towards them. Like a typical zombie. But yeah, I was very happy to see him, because I think Hawkeye is underrated, and him being zombie is kind of cool concept. So I was happy to see him first out of the original 6.
Excellent. Any thoughts on that, Jeff, about seeing Hawkeye in that beginning sequence?
Not really, sir, because we're not going to see Hawkeye like a bunch of other times. I don't think. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. I don't get the feeling that he's going to in any way, unfortunately, be sort of any kind of staying character in the story. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like seeing Hawkeye. You know what I mean? But it'd be a lot more interesting, if I saw multiple times. You know what I'm saying? The one-off was nice, I guess.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. So moving on. All right. So en route, they unknowingly enter the fighting between Icarus and a zombie Carol Danvers. Kate is killed in the chaos, while Kamala and Riri are attacked by a zombie horde. Riri and her artificial intelligence Friday sacrifice themselves to take Kamala away from the battlefield, where she is saved by Blade Knight, who takes her to Ohio. So we'll stop there. Quite a bit goes on in there. We have the traveling there to get to to Ohio, or to the area, to the battle. We see the an elimination of Kate. We see Friday being taken out. We see Riri being taken out, and then of course we're introduced to briefly Blade Knight. He pops up at the very end to grab Kamala. But we get to see Icarus, which we haven't seen Icarus since Eternals. So that was kind of cool, I thought. I thought the whole battle sequence was really awesome and stuff like that. Friday, taking on and stuff like that. And Icarus and, zombie Carol Danvers going at it. I mean, Carol Danvers is one of the most powerful mutants out there, metahumans or whatever you want to call her. And she's like taking on Icarus, who is, basically literally a robot. And you're just thinking to yourself, wow, as a zombie, she's even worse, I bet. So I think that was kind of interesting. We got a Carol Danvers zombie, which she's not a part of the original 6. So I think that's funny that, out of all the ones that we saw, besides Okoye, we see Carol Danvers, which is kind of funny. So what are you guys' thoughts on that section leading up to Blade Knight popping up to grab Kamala, who, ends up taking her to Ohio? Starting with you, Mr. Andres, the pop culture guy.
Okay, so this is where I started to like more of the episode, because the beginning, it didn't hook me right away. But then when Kamala did mention like the storm was getting close, I was like, okay. And then you're starting to see like the lights like beat each other, like was matching each other. I was like, what's going on? Like I thought, okay, something was gonna happen. Like either Captain Marvel was fighting something, which it did. But man, I was not expecting Icarus coming back because I mean Icarus was actually my favorite thing about the Eternals. Like it's not a good movie, it's not a good Marvel movie, but there were great. There were like potential with the Eternals being the greatest Marvel thing, and one of it was Icarus. I think Icarus was a very good like Marvel's version of Superman. Like I think that's one thing Chloe Zhao, the the goat that we have talked about on this channel, with the image we always show, but anyway, or ward, whatever you want to call it. Like that was the one aspect she did right in Eternals, like the way she like photographed, like how she showed Icarus how to fly, like how he fly was really cool, and like his laser eyes like was really neat, very like Zack Snyder Man of Steel, like all that was really cool. Like I always liked Icarus, and I was very sad that he died during the end of Eternals. So it was really neat and really surprised that we got him here because and obviously this project was like held so many years because it was part of that like old regime. So it makes sense that they had like a Eternal here. So I was very happy, and I liked the battle here, and I liked the half like damaged Icarus. That was really cool design. I like that design. And then Captain Marvel as a zombie, really cool. I like it. So not a big fan of Carol, but like her being a zombie, I'm totally fine with. But man, I can't believe they killed Kate. I love Kate Bishop. She's a great character. Wish she had more time as a character, but hey, I'm happy they're not playing it safe as a show. So I'm happy that they're like killing off characters, So that's the one good thing about this show is like they're actually being like a horror show, a horror superhero show. So that's something I can report positively because I've seen episode 2 and they do kill off a lot of your favorite characters, which is good as a horror project. Riri Williams dying. I wasn't like too like up in arms. I was like, okay, I like one bite. I was like, oh wow, and then she sacrificed herself with a, like she, sacrificed hers to save Kamala. That was good. So I was happy that she, like, I not the biggest fan of Ironheart, so I think she did a decent amount, and I was happy that she wasn't part of the episode because I don't think she was useful. But man, Friday was a great character. I always liked Friday, and I was very sad that she sacrificed herself as an AI. But yeah, and then Blade came in and rescued Kamala, so that was really cool. And I was not expecting that early to see Blade. But yeah, so I think this section was where I really started to like the episode more. We'll get into, but when we get to the Shield Idaho like facility, that was where I was like best episode. Like I was very happy. But we'll get into that later.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Jeff, your thoughts, sir, on the traveling to Ohio, and then they end up having to fight zombies, and they sacrifice themselves except for Kamala, who gets saved by Blade. What are your thoughts, sir?
Oh yeah, I mean, was Ironheart one of the ones that got sacrificed? I couldn't tell.
Yes.
Okay, well that's obviously good. You know what I'm saying? I was not like when I saw Riri Williams in the show at first, coming off of course, reviewing the her TV show, let's just say that my immediate reaction was not positive. Upon hearing her talk and seeing her and everything, I was really kind of put off by it. It doesn't even matter like who you put her around, like what other characters you get her with or whatever, I just don't like seeing her, but she seemed like she was actually, doing okay. Like, so, until she died, You know, she seemed to be somewhat entertaining as a character during her brief tenure of Marvel Zombies. Again, I found myself to be somewhat lost a little bit with the story as far as kind of just in general, like, you know, what the direction of things were going, kind of, you know. I eventually did catch up and figure out kind of where things were at. But, you know, I mean, the animation was cool. You know, the violence, the blood, you know, when it comes to the kills and stuff like that, you know, and I guess you could say the action scenes, you know, with the zombies and all that was all cool. Good to see, you know. I mean, you know, obviously, like, you know, we all know that, you know, something like Marvel Zombies can never work if you don't actually have blood and violence, you know, and you know, and gore. And that's the great thing about animation is you can do all those things. You can add those elements, right? And it can come off in like a very, you know, very much more harmless, you know, and benign, you know, sort of innocent almost kind of way, you know, to the audience. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can get away with a lot. You can get away with a lot in animation. You know, yeah, honestly, there's some really, really, really creepy Japanese animes out there, you know, that are like really sexually bizarre. You know what I'm saying? You know, some of them Japanese folks are freaks, man. They got some freaky fucking sexual cultural ideas and rules and stuff like that. And you know, you'd be amazed at some of the crap that they fit in and squeeze into some of these animes. But yeah, you know, I mean, of course, you know, I always miss the old Marvel characters, you know, the original Marvel characters from the original phases. So I would have loved to have seen them alive and active, you know, instead of some of the more newer Phase 4, Phase 5 characters being there. But it still was cool and interesting seeing the, you know, the mixing up or the different pairings, you know, of the characters that they did have on hand, you know, and you know, and it was, you know, we hadn't seen some of them in a while, so you know that was exciting and that was kind of cool, and you know, I liked how well done I felt like they did with how devastated everything looked, you know, across the country. You know what I'm saying? I again just wish that they would have maybe potentially done something in terms of like some more flashbacks or something like that, just to kind of maybe you know, fill in some of the background information, you know, as far as like, you know, just something basic, you know, to explain how things got so bad, you know, like so quickly or whatever. You know what I mean? You know, I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more of an explanation on that. Just some background information, you know, on, you know, at least how the war started, you know, and all that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, you know, the zombies look cool. You know, they're cool looking zombies. And you know, besides that, I mean, you know, I enjoyed seeing, you know, the some of the superheroes getting killed off and stuff like that. That was neat, you know. Obviously, there's going to be lots of that. Nobody that I really wanted to stay alive stayed alive, you know. So I wasn't like let down or anything by any of the deaths, not yet, anyway. But yeah, that's about it, sir.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so another question before we move on from this section on Blade. What was your initial thought of officially seeing Blade pop up and him being a Moon Knight? Starting with you, Andreas.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I have to put this together. Awesome. I mean, Blade is a great character. Love him. And when I heard that Blade was going to be in the show, I was like, oh god, this is perfect. Vampire versus zombies. Awesome idea. And then they push it to the next level of awesomeness by making him Moon Knight, and that is really cool. So I really like the concept. He looks great in the Moon Knight costume. Like I don't know if this is like intentional, but like I like that he looks kind of like Dracula with the cape and all. Like he's very much like a universal like horror character with the cape, but just not with black but white, which is kind of neat. Yeah, I like the added addition to Blade. I think he's actually a really awesome character in this series because I seen episode 2, and I think it's cool that he's in this show because he has a lot of the humor and like his like fighting scenes that we do see later on is really great. So I think his inclusion in the show is actually really great. I just wish we got a Blade movie. That's all I have to say, you know. But I think it's a good idea to put Blade in this because he's a horror character. So I think that was a good decision for Marvel's part to put him in this show. So I'm very happy to tell everyone that he's a great addition, and I think that him being a Moon Knight is actually a really good concept. They ease you with the concept of Moon Knight if you haven't seen the show. Like he kind of explained what is a Moon Knight. He explained what Khonshu is. He's a god. Of this addition god, and so like bam and bam we understand what Blade is and like who he is as Moon Knight. So I really liked it. So I think he's also animated very well. Like he's actually the best animation they've done. I think he looks great in animation.
You mean if you watched Moon Knight, but if you didn't watch Moon Knight, then you might be a little bit confused.
Yeah, well, not really. I think Blade just explains it pretty well than the 6th episode of the live action one. But yeah. Oh, and just wrapping up. I think pairing him with Kamala, great decision. I love that. So I think that's a good decision from this show. So that's all I have to say. I'm very happy they have Blade here in the show because I was not excited for Marvel Zombies if they have him here.
All right, thank you. Any thoughts on Blade and him being Moon Knight, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, to tell you the truth. I will agree with Andres, the pop culture guy, as I often do. I probably agreed with him, 157 fucking different times during our 3-hour and 20-minute live stream on Monday night, which I'm sure Andres, the pop culture guy, really appreciated.
What the Emanate discussion we had?
I'm sure Andres, the pop culture guy, really appreciated me, when that clock hit that 3-hour mark. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he was really loving that, that going down like that. But
oh my God.
Sometimes the conversation just carries on, But yeah, I agree with Andres, the pop culture guy, that hey, what a shock, right? Pairing another character with Kamala Khan works really well usually. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much doesn't matter who you put her with, I don't think. You know what I mean? Whether it's live action or animation. I think you could kind of probably, stick her with almost anybody, in a one-on-one, scenario. You know what I'm saying? And she's just so her personality is so infectious, and also innocent at times, you know what I'm saying? And youthful and naive, and just, has that teenage-ish, sort of, vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? Her personality, her demeanor, her character, along with her humor, that she doles out, that she's funny, and she's peppy and kind of upbeat all the time. It's really hard to not like her, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to imagine any Marvel superhero hooking up with Kamala and not immediately even Blade not immediately warming up to her, right? Or at least feeling positive about being around her in some way, she's not off-putting in any way. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't have anything like that going on, right? As a character, she's not like Ironheart. I'm not trying to make the character out to be perfect, But Kamala Khan's version of Miss Marvel is without any real major negative hangups at all. She doesn't have any of those those faults that Ironheart had in her show. Where Miss Marvel is very likable. She's very respectable. You respect her. As a person. You understand her motivations and her goals very easily. And they're positive ones, right? They're good ones. And they come on, and it all comes off very easily. I always love seeing Blade and stuff. I mean, we haven't really seen him besides video games in a really long time. So hey, the induction of Blade into something is great. It does make sense to have him be in Marvel Zombies. At the same time, because he's not actually in the live action MCU, it is very strange and kind of bizarre in a way that he was in the show, that he's in Marvel Zombies. I was a little surprised, to tell you the truth, at first, that when I knew he was going to be in there. Just because, again, we all know what has gone down with the Blade film. Not that I want to go down that rabbit hole, but with how that whole situation has kind of went south, you know what I mean? I honestly kind of figured that Marvel Studios would not want to put Blade in Marvel Zombies, just out of the embarrassment almost, of how the whole Blade movie went down, but I guess I guess enough time has passed that they're not worried about that anymore. I wish that Blade would have been voiced by Mahershala Ali, that I would have liked that, but the guy who did the voice for Blade was good. And Blade looked good in Marvel Zombies. He looked good. I'm not really sure how I feel about the whole Blade Moon Knight thing. Honestly, that connection, that combination. It looks a little weird to me, but it does kind of make sense, I guess. Because I mean, even though Moon Knight in the comics really is a one-man show, he really is a straight up solo character that does his own thing and doesn't really team up with other people very much. He's on his own mission. He does sort of naturally slide into or fall into that supernatural category of Marvel, right? Just based off of his powers and his origin and his backstory and all that. That's sort of the best spot really at the end of the day to kind of fit him into, so, from that perspective, I guess it does make logical sense to make that combination. And of course it does manage to get Moon Knight into Marvel Zombies, right? In some way, even if it's not actual Moon Knight. So that it was okay.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. So moving on from there, upon arriving, they encounter Melina Vostokova, Alexei Shostakov, and Yelena Belova, who have taken refuge and are guarded by Melina's controlled zombies. They determine that the device is a transmitter that must be used in outer space to broadcast a signal to the Nova Corps. We'll stop there, because basically the final act is basically the final battle, really. So we'll stop there. We're introduced to, of course, the two Black Widows, Yelena Belova, Black Widow, and then, of course, Rachel Weisz's Melina, who was in Black Widow. And then, of course, Red Guardian is as Alexei. And then, of course, they have the zombies out front that they're using, which she is able to control, which is really awesome. And then we finally find out what was all about that transmitter they found inside that zombie. And that it has to do with broadcasting to the Nova Corps, which is really awesome. I love that we got Nova Corps, got some, kudos to that, and which is really cool. And I think that's done really well. And I think this part is pretty funny. We got some really funny kind of Red Guardian things happening there in that sequence. We have Yelena's usual charm and Melina's usual charm. Of course, Melina, to me, because they didn't get Rachel Weisz to voice her, sounds almost like a retarded Russian. Unfortunately, for me, that's what I was saying as I was watching it, because it just did not sound right. It just did not sound how she should have sounded. And even as we were watching it, we didn't even think that sounded like David Harbour voicing Red Guardian. He didn't even sound like his normal self, we felt. And but it was David Harbour that voiced it, and of course Florence Pugh voiced Yelena. But still, that Melina voiceover was so bad, which cracked me up. But other than that, I still think the character is great, and it very much had that feeling of the Melina we got in the Black Widow film. So going back to you guys, what are your guys' thoughts on that section, the introduction of those characters and finding out what the transmitter is for, and the Nova Corps, kind of send off there that we got too? And I'll start with you, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, it's been a while since we've seen the Nova Corps, and I was kind of surprised that they would actually end up, involving them, in Marvel Zombies in any way. But it's still cool to see the Nova Corps, I wish Nova would have would have popped up, he definitely would have helped, against the zombies. Yeah, I mean, hey, obviously there seems to be this infatuation with Marvel right now with Red Guardian. I don't know why. You know what I mean? So, of course, he had to have a prominent role in in Marvel Zombies. I guess he's okay. Honestly, sometimes I'd like to see him be a little bit more effective in combat. In battles. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he can do more. He should be capable of more, I think, as a super soldier, right? So I just, from time to time when I see him and stuff, I just wonder, why, he's not, kicking as much ass, I guess you could say, to the level, that I would kind of expect him to be able to, right? Being a super soldier. But his humor and all that, and his dialogue is always great and is always a good addition. Yeah, I like the team that they have going there, at the base. That Miss Marvel and Blade hook up with, right? Obviously with Yelena, and Yelena's mom, is there, right? It was sad to see her go down, but not surprising that she would sacrifice herself the way she did, right? Seeing the zombie Hulk was cool, he was kind of small, I honestly, I figured he'd be a little bit bigger than he was, right? But I guess whenever he became zombified, he must have been, maybe a Professor Hulk version of Hulk, or something like that. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't look as big as regular, Hulk mode Hulk.
Wait, Jeff, that's the Abomination. That wasn't Hulk.
That's the Abomination?
Yes, that was the Abomination.
Oh, okay. No wonder he doesn't look as big as Hulk.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, okay. So that was the Abomination. Okay, he was the one that was running through the walls and
Yeah, and you could tell because he has the comic accurate fins. His ears from the
I didn't even notice the fins.
Yeah, it was so dark you couldn't tell.
Whenever I saw him, he was just running. You know what I mean? Running through stuff. You know what
we hadn't gotten to that part yet either, Jeff.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad. I usually really try very, very hard to not go.
You are full on Andres right now.
I don't usually do that. I'm usually very good, Cyber, about not going past the point. I'm really kind of strict when it comes to that stuff for myself. I don't like it when other people do it. So I do apologize for that. But either way, Andres, thank you for pointing out my mistake there, on the character. Again, I'm still, a little bit miffed and like a little bit lost. At this point in the episode, I'm still kind of trying to discover or figure out kind of like what the main goal is right now, like for the good guys, you know what I'm saying? Besides escaping, essentially, right? Or staying alive, did they explain at all why what's her name from Wakanda is the leader of the zombies?
Yes, in this moment. Or, yeah, they explain why.
They explain it in this portion I haven't talked about yet.
Okay, they do explain it? Okay. All right, well, you guys can explain it to me then. Because I really was not getting that, that whole deal. It was kind of, throwing me off a little bit. Obviously, I'd have to imagine that there's a lot of other like still alive like Marvel, superhero Avenger type characters still out there, that we haven't seen yet. You know what I mean? Because in this episode, at least, we don't see that many characters. There's not really that many. Did we go as far as the zombie cap?
Nope.
Okay, I'll stop there.
All right. Thank you, sir. Pop culture guy, same question, sir. That little section there leading up to them finding out that it's a broadcast signal to the Nova Core.
Yeah. Well, so the idea of the Nova Core maybe have a cure with the zombie plague, that's interesting. That makes another tropey horror thing for a virus. Like, is there a cure for the zombie apocalypse? So it was good that they brought that in. It was a cool concept to like use the Nova Corps, because we're barely using the Nova Corps in the Marvel universe. So it was cool that they mentioned them. We saw the core briefly in Guardians 1. So that was really nice. This is where I started to like the episode more. I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna enjoy this show now, because he brought me the Black Widow family, which I love from the movie. Brian, Melina, of course, Alexei and Leia. They're my favorite characters of Phase 4, and obviously. Elena and Alexei are definitely the best characters we have since the multiverse saga started. So it was great that they put them here in next episode, which is nice. And I kind of agree with Cyber. Some of the voice casting is okay. I thought the actor that voiced Blade is so good. Like, you cannot tell. Like, we know that it's not voiced by Mahershala Ali, but that actor that's voicing Blade, his name is what's his name? Todd Williams. He's doing a really good job of like impersonating Mahershala Ali, because he sounds like him, and so I think he's actually the standout voice actor, and that's good. Because with celebrity voicing, animation characters is always a hit and miss. Like, you need to be right for the role, and I just think Marvel needs to realize they need to cast different actors to voice these. Like,
Andres, my friend, that's a really bad sign though for like the Blade film or whatever, that Mahershala Ali did not come in and voice Blade.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I'm just pointing it out. That's a bad sign.
Yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen with Blade, but whatever. Hopefully they get the movie out, after this saga's over. But yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but I think I think the movie was supposed to come out right before this show was gonna come out, so it's the same situation with What If Season 3, where we were supposed to get Ironheart, her show, before that season was supposed to come out.
But Mahershala Ali was in the MCU fold when when Marvel Zombies was made. He was there.
Yeah, his cameo in Eternals, right? But whatever. I mean, look, that's Marvel's fault. I mean, it's technically Disney's fault, because the pandemic and all that, whatever. So yeah, I agree with Cyber that the Belinda voice actress was not good. It was very fakey. Dave Harbour, he's a good actor. I was, I don't know, like he's maybe trying too hard for his voice to be an animation. Like I don't know. I felt but Leia, the actress, Florence Pugh, like she already done voice acting. She was in the new Puss in Boots too, which I love. So she was very natural. So very mixed results, but that's kind of expected sometimes.
Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Gotta get it correct.
I'm sorry. Boots and Boots, The Last Wish. There. I give it that little Antonio Banderas.
With her, it doesn't surprise me that she would not be available for voice acting for Marvel or whatever, because unlike honestly a lot many other MCU actors right now, she is very much in demand in Hollywood right now. She's very much in demand.
Yeah. Which one? Rachel Weisz or
no? Florence Pugh.
Yeah. I'm happy they have her here. Thank goodness, because I think she's
no. I'm just saying she's literally at her Hollywood peak right now. As far as her career goes.
Yeah. No, I understand. No, it's good because she's a great actress. Love her and happy she's getting a lot of work. I think the voice casting is good here. I mean, the actress that does Kamala Khan, she's really good. I actually think she's doing a really good job voicing her character in the animation. So that's the one good thing.
I'm in Balani.
Yes, Manani. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Balani.
I can't believe nobody has cast her in anything yet besides Marvel.
She has some projects is on the pipeline. They haven't released yet. It's coming next year. Some horror movie I saw that could be interesting to see. And she's been cast in a couple things. It's just like, the Marvel thing has become more like they came first before new ones. So, but anyway. That's all I have to say. I think this section was decent, good. Very happy that Black Widow family was part of this small section because that's where I start to like the episode more. But at the same time, I do agree that some of the voice casting is hit and miss. And I mean that's a hit and miss with What If as well, because sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. So, going to the epic conclusion of Marvel Zombies Episode 1. The base is attacked by a zombie horde led by Okoye, who serves the Red Queen, Wanda Maximoff. The horde, which includes the zombies Steve Rogers, Clint Barton, Ava Starr, and Emil Blonsky, storms and overwhelms the base's defenses. Though Alexei kills Roger and Blade Knight kills Starr, Melina sacrifices herself to allow the others to escape. Blade reveals that he knows of a ship capable of reaching space. All right. So this epic takedown here is a great epic ending to this first episode. Seeing Zombie Steve Rogers again was great. Seeing Clint Barton again. Ava Starr, I did not realize that was Ava Starr. Which is it is Ghost. Okay, never mind. I didn't recognize her actual name. So that was Ghost, and of course Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination. Which yes, the comic book accurate fins were great. At first, when I first saw the silhouette of him, I thought it was Hulk, but then once I saw the fins, I'm like, oh no, that's Abomination. I'm like, oh cool. So really, really great. First ops here. Of course, we got Okoye, and then, of course, Wanda we see briefly, too, which I believe I heard that actual Elizabeth Olsen voices Wanda Maximoff in one of the other episodes.
Yes, I think she does.
And so, we got some decent voice actors coming back for these some of these other great, ensemble characters that were a part of the original 6. So great section. I thought I really enjoyed it. I thought the Blade cutting up Ava Starr was awesome. Ghost, that was fucking sweet. And then of course Alexei fighting Steve was hilarious. as usual, which was great. And eventually he just falls on him and kills him, which was hilarious too. So I think this is a great ending to a great first episode. I mean, the horde zombies were awesome. The battle was awesome. And then, of course, Melina sacrifice stuff I thought was pretty cool too. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? And I'll start with you first, Andreas. What do you think of the conclusion of this episode?
Fantastic. That's like what you need, is zombie herd attacking your facility as always, and they did it very well, which is good to see. You know, that's what you need for the zombie content. You know, Walking Dead does it well. You know, every zombie we've seen has done it well. You know, if they have the budget. So it was really neat. But one criticism I will have, and something, because I had to address this with Jeff, of course. You know, is the lighting. Like, you're not in a live action movie. You know, like recently, some reason the live action stuff, TV and movie, have this trouble lighting the night scenes, and some reason this episode has trouble lighting its scenes. Like, you cannot tell who was reanimated as the Marvel heroes, villains, whatever, from the Marvel universe. Like, you know, like, yeah, I recognize Abomination because this, you know, multiverse saga, it reintroduced him in his more comic accurate design. You know, we saw with Shang-Chi. And damn you, Cyber, you're very lucky that I didn't bring a zombie in your house and you'd be affected. But anyway, oh my god, now you lost my train of thought. Damn it, no. Oh my god, I lost my mind. Oh yes, Abomination, Shang-Chi, and then of course his appearance in She-Hulk. Oh god, Laura, She-Hulk. And yeah, and Ghost, yeah, it took me a while until, you know, Ghost did her abilities. I was like, oh yeah, that's Ghost. But yeah, very sad that Melinda died. I was hoping she's make it, but hey, it's a zombie show. Everyone needs to die, unfortunately. That's part of the storylines and all that, and zombie content. So, but her death was brutal. Like, the fact that the zombie-fied Okoye, like, throw her spear to her heart, like, that was brutal. Like, I was like, wow, that was a, like, cool death. But yeah, the reveal of the zombify, I guess the zombify, because we don't know if Scarlet Witch is alive or like she's dead, like she's reanimated. Like, the zombify Scarlet Witch we know from the What If episode is controlling these zombies. That's a cool concept. I actually like that twist, that she's controlling the zombies here, and that's how they're actually being intelligent. Because yeah, I agree with Jeff. Like, it was so weird that Okoye was talking. I mean, of course, zombies do talk. It's not like every time. Like, it's just it was part of that other zombie culture where, like, you know, zombies, like, famously, you know, like, a zombie only say two words, either brains or, you know, something like that. You know, like that's how, you know.
Honestly, I think Okoye is possessed by Wanda.
Well, yeah, okay, so yeah, that's one thing. Like, you don't see her as decay as like some of the zombies, like Abomination and Ghost. You see them as zombies. Like, you can see, like, they have like holes in their bodies, you know, like bullet holes and stuff like that. Like, their flesh is a little more open. Like, you could tell that they're zombies. Where, yeah, I was thinking about Okoye. Like, yeah, she didn't look too fleshy out like some of the zombies. So yeah, you're right. She could be a possessed. Really like that twist. That's a really, like, something we don't rarely see in zombie stories. So it's kind of cool that one of the Avengers is controlling them. That's really cool. So I like that twist. I thought the blade cutting Ghost was a really great moment. We saw that in one of the trailers. I was like, okay, same as interesting. But when we saw it, it was great. First the stab, and then he cuts into her like multiple halves. It was great. Yeah, and yeah, like sushi. It was like, something that's something I can see, like, live action Blade, like Wesley Snipes do with the vampires. He usually cuts out. Favorite part was Red Guardian versus the zombified Cap. That was a great moment. Like, just the half body Cap was hilarious. He was like, I'm ready to meet my match. My my mortal enemy apparently. and then of course the zombified Cap came like was it down under, and then bite Red Guardian in the leg, and then the oh my god, the kill of Cap was so great. One of the best zombie kills. Like Red Guardian like just dropping down to the floor and smash it was so like perfect, gory, and but like a really cool like zombie kill, which it was really nice. One thing was weird is like he gets bitten by Cap, but he doesn't get affected. Like that's one thing I don't like about this episode is like they're very inconsistent. Sometimes when you get bitten by zombies, you're not like infected, but most of the time, like since The Walking Dead, you're when you get bite with the zombie, you are going to be infected, immediately as zombies.
I think he didn't get infected because he has the super soldier serum.
Oh, that's true. I think that's good point. I was thinking about that, but yeah, that's a weird thing, but yeah, overall ending was great. I love it. It really exceeded my expectations. I'm excited to go to episode 2, which I already seen. I think the show is in good position as a good Disney Plus show.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. I have to give you the Chloe Zhao Award for such a great contribution there, sir. All right, Jeff. Sir, your thoughts on the conclusion of the episode, sir?
Haven't seen Chloe Zhao working very much since the Eternals came out, you know?
Well, she's having a new movie this year that's coming out. It's an Oscar movie, so it's not one of those movies you will probably see.
Oh, it's one of those like straight for the Oscars type movies?
Yeah, yep.
Well, you know me well, Andres. You know I don't watch those movies very often. You know what I'm saying? I don't make my way out to theaters, like you guys to catch those those Oscar straight for Oscar type films. Although as I told you, the next time that I work on my movie list, for movie reviews, I definitely plan on adding some newer, Oscar contending type films when the time comes. So yeah, I mean,
could have been a contender.
I too like seeing that one character gets staked through the heart, by that spear. I thought that was pretty brutal, I'm not sure who that was exactly that got impaled. But that was pretty cool. Yeah, the fight with Cap, was all right, seeing zombie Captain America is always neat, just like seeing any of the, of the zombified heroes is neat. Watching what's his name? Not Hulk, but
Abomination.
Watching Abomination run around and tear the building down and all that shit was pretty cool. I enjoyed that a lot. I thought the voice actor for Yelena was okay. I thought I didn't really know that. I didn't notice a really big difference, to tell you the truth.
Yelena is Florence Pugh.
Oh, that is Florence Pugh voicing her. Okay, I thought somebody had said earlier that was somebody that wasn't her. My bad.
No, it was the other character, Melina, the Rachel Weisz character.
Well, one thing I thought was kind of dumb was this new power they gave Miss Marvel, where she could like project like small hail size size like rocks or whatever of her energy, as like an offensive like defensive power. I thought that was kind of lame, to be honest with you. I think she has really cool powers. When they're done correctly, when they're shown correctly. Obviously, I'm glad that apparently the good guys survived the battle, and made it out, to whatever their next destination is. I'm obviously very interested in finding out how Wanda became the leader of the zombies. I don't know how it makes sense that they would have brought her over from What If or whatever, as like the leader, I could have swore in What If Zombies that she ended up in like space or something like that. Like by the end of her time, I could be wrong, but I could have swore that she got teleported to space or something like that at some point, like in one of the episodes or something like that. Zombie Wanda, but that's pretty much it, Cyber. It wasn't my favorite episode of Marvel Zombies. I'm sure I probably will like other ones more. But for a start, it was okay. And I mostly liked the sort of like Avengers team, I guess you could say, that they ended up with by the end. I enjoyed.
Okay, thank you, sir. And for all of those, out there, just this.
Yes.
Anywho, good job, everyone. 10s across the board. Everyone wins the amazing award tonight. You guys are all been fantastic. You all get a massage parlor package and spa.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I'm really lazy. I'm telling you. I've been thinking about it like just recently in the last couple of days when I've been on Instagram looking at videos and stuff. I've been thinking about how I need to sit down and restock our video clips and our memes and stuff like that here on the StreamYard. But I've been very lazy when it comes to that stuff. We have nothing but old stuff to work with.
Which is fine. I love our old stuff.
Oh, I like it too, sir.
Yeah, nothing will replace the Tard Man clip for me, or the Pizza Man.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Overall, sir. I like the concept of Marvel Zombies, and I thought that the first episode was at the very least entertaining to watch.
Give your rating then.
Oh, I'd say probably for this first episode, I'll give it like a 6.5. Because I think it's going to get better, and I'll probably have a better rating for episode 2. In fact, I guarantee I probably will. But I'm just going to go with a 6.5 for this first episode just because it was so short. Everything happened so fast. And I had a hard time completely understanding what was going on at times.
Gotcha. Andres, your rating, sir?
I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. It was a decent episode for the start of this miniseries. I think they could have done better, but it gave me a couple things. Gave me my favorite characters that I like from this space. Good zombie kills. We got that. And they did a pretty good job making this like a horror episode, so that's good. So they did a decent job, but they could have done better. But
I could have predicted Andre's rating if I wanted to. I didn't do it because I didn't think about it. But I knew he was gonna pick a 7 or a 7.5. Because as I've proven before in the past, Cyber, on other shows when I've predicted his rating, I know from doing so many shows with Andres, I have a very good feel for his rating system, and Andres is a very nice guy when it comes to ratings. So he doesn't like to give low ratings on TV show episodes, so he's very influenced by the other guests and like what their ratings are. You know what I mean? and
All right.
so
I'm gonna. This is a horror twist. I'm gonna punch up 8 out of 10.
Andres will only drop like a 4 or a 5 or something like that, or a 6 out of an episode if another guest has already done it once, like
Oh
before.
no! Oh my god! Anyway, 8 out of 10. I changed my mind. It's 8 out of 10. Good episode, decent. Could have been better, but whatever. It's all that. And no, I have my own mind. I don't follow my guests or you guys.
There's nothing wrong with being influenced by other people on the show, sir. It happens.
Well, thank you. But thank you for paying attention to my ratings. I appreciate that. I guess. So that's all I have to say.
I can't predict Cyber's ratings because Cyber just picks his ratings based solely individually on his rating. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure even Cyber would probably admit that at some point throughout the years, he's been influenced by another person.
Possibly. I'll give you that. Possibly, I have been influenced by somebody else's rating when it's in the negative zone. Most definitely, yes. But anyways, I simply love this episode because of Kamala Khan. I give it a 10. I'm giving it a 10 simply because I love Kamala Khan, and she was absolutely fantastic in this. So I have to give it a 10 just for that. And then, I think that overall, it was a very entertaining episode. There was no parts that I felt were dragged. I also didn't feel it did not entertain me, and I didn't understand anything. I thought it was a really well-rounded, episode compared to what I've seen in what other What If episodes. This one to me is a top-notch What If episode. So that What If episode that I gave a 10 to, this is I felt was that top-notch type of What If episode. So great job. All right, folks. So that is it for the first episode of Marvel Zombies. We're going to get the hell out of here, and we're going to send it over to Jeff here to take us out.
Yes, sir. And I think probably, Cyber, I may have been partially distracted by that intense, Threads fucking argument I was having about the Acolyte, during my watching of the episode that may have affected my ability to keep track of the story.
Gotcha.
Which is my fault. There you are, Cyber.
All right, folks. So if you enjoy my content here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge as a moderator or on the panel, you can check out my solo content. You'll find me under Cyberneticshark. Find me on YouTube, which is my home base. You'll also find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Patreon, X, so many other places. See there, my most two recent reviews are the newest Conjuring film, Last Rites, and then, of course, the Toxic Avenger unrated film. Both are doing really well. And I have to shout out Mr. Jassim, Mr. Ratha Khan, for taking some clips of the Conjuring review of mine and helping out a brother. So I have to shout out Mr. Ratha Khan. He's the man. And he is helping a brother out. But yeah, I'll be having more stuff up for you. I just went and saw a couple movies yesterday. As you can see here in my shorts, I saw The Long Walk and One Battle After Another. As you can see there, you can see a couple of the clips that Mr. Ratha Khan created for me and that I uploaded. You can check those out if you haven't seen them. But as you can see, The Long Walk and One Battle After Another, I'll have full reviews of that up eventually for you guys, along with a Terrifier 3 review as well, especially with it being October. I'll be putting up more horror-themed reviews for you guys as well. And so just keep on trucking, keep on subscribing, keep on watching. Help me get that golden plaque. Help me get to that money-making wonderfulness on here, people. Help all of us keep on continuing to help us grow here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge and through Mr. Pop Culture Guys channel too as well. We appreciate you guys, and thank you for watching us here on Zombies.
Well, hats off to Ratha Khan for helping a brother out. He's a very nice young man. All right. Andre's the Pop Culture Guy, sir.
Hello, everyone. This is Andreas, Pop Culture Guy. Right now, I'm working on a new project to post very soon after this live stream. Of course, my first Halloween, I'm gonna do Halloween movie reviews. So tonight, I'm gonna review my short review for a movie. It will be Friday Night. Start with that, and then we're gonna check out a couple of horror clips. Recently, I just posted a short clip on the head. One of the babysitters' head got chopped up from the movie The Monkey. I saw The Monkey like a couple weeks ago. Great horror movie from.
Love that movie.
Yeah, very good one. Love that movie. Saw it. It was great. It came out early this year, so expect that to be the third movie review later down this week. No,
Best Osgood Perkins film ever.
yeah, I need to check Long Legs. I'm definitely gonna check Long Legs this week or hopefully soon. But yeah, so I got that tomorrow. I'm gonna post the part 3 of the Shadow/Batman comic run I've been doing, and I got my 25th anniversary tribute for the X-Men franchise coming out soon. Hopefully, yeah, either tomorrow or Friday. I'll post that and celebrate the franchise. And plus, no live streams yet, but you can check out the last one we did. Thank you, Jeff, for helping me from last Sunday to do the top ranking X-Men films. That was really a blast, so you can still check that out. So yep, that's where I'm at right now, folks, and please support me, Cyber, and everyone here for our content, so we can reach the big black and money and all that as well.
Okay. All right. That is it for us at the MCU's Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. Thank you, Cyberneticshark, my co-host, for moderating this week. Andre's the Pop Culture Guy's turn to moderate next week for Marvel Zombies Episode 2. We have a wonderful Peacemaker Episode 7, already episode 7, Season 2 recap on Friday night, which should be very interesting. I'm not sure who moderates that one. I think it might be you, Andres. I'm not sure.
No, I moderated last week.
Oh, it's me then. It's me.
Yep.
Okay. Either way, we appreciate all of you out there that catch us, whether it's a digital or audio form. If you do catch us in audio form, please do us a solid and rate and follow our MCU's Bleeding Edge podcast, because we really appreciate things like that. For Cyber, for Andres, the Pop Culture Guy, I'm Jeff S., a.k.a. TrueKnowledge, and we are